The moment the moon enters Aries, something ancient stirs in the human heart. This is not a soft or passive energy. This is fire meeting emotion, courage colliding with truth, and silence finally losing its grip. Aries does not wait. Aries acts. And when the moon moves through this sign, feelings that were buried, suppressed, or avoided suddenly demand expression. This is why so many are feeling restless right now, why sleep feels lighter, why thoughts of someone you haven't spoken to in a long time are returning without warning. This is not coincidence. This is the apology wave portal activating. For weeks, and for some of you even months or years, there has been an unspoken energy hanging between you and another soul. Words were swallowed, pride stood tall, fear pretended to be strength. A heart that wanted to speak chose silence instead, convincing itself that quiet was safer than vulnerability. But Aries energy does not tolerate emotional cowardice. When the moon enters Aries, it lights a match under everything that has been avoided, especially unfinished emotional business. This is why the person who walked away without explanation is suddenly thinking about you. This is why the one who hurt you but never said sorry feels an uncomfortable pressure in their chest. Aries rules courage, and the moon rules emotion. Together, they force people to confront the truth of what they did, what they failed to do, and who they became by staying silent. The apology wave is not gentle. It arrives like a sudden urge that cannot be ignored, like a message typed and deleted over and over again, like your name appearing in their mind at the most unexpected moments. You may notice that memories resurface now with unusual clarity. Conversations replay. Regrets feel louder. The heart that went silent begins to crack under the weight of everything it never expressed. Aries energy removes excuses. It strips away overthinking and replaces it with raw impulse. That is why apologies during this transit often come suddenly, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes emotionally messy, but always honest. These are not calculated words. These are confessions pushed out by cosmic fire. If you are the one waiting for an apology, understand this. The universe has not forgotten what you endured. The moon in Aries activates karmic courage. It pushes people to do the thing they avoided the most. Many who wronged you convinced themselves that time would erase guilt. Instead, time sharpened it. Now the portal opens, and the heart that once chose pride over truth can no longer remain quiet. Silence becomes heavier than speaking. For some of you, this apology may come directly through words, a message, a call, a face-to-face conversation that you never expected to happen. For others, the apology may arrive energetically. You may feel sudden emotional release, closure without explanation, or a deep sense that the karmic balance has shifted even if no words are spoken. Aries does not always need permission to act, but it always reveals truth. This portal is also about you. If you were the one who stayed silent, who held back your truth, who avoided expressing how deeply you felt, this moon may push you to finally speak, not to beg, not to chase, but to liberate yourself from emotional suppression. Aries energy teaches that honesty is not weakness, it is power. And when the moon lights this fire, suppressed emotions become impossible to ignore. Be aware that this energy moves fast. The moon in Aries does not linger. It creates sudden breakthroughs, quick realizations, and decisive moments. This is why things may unfold rapidly over the next 48 hours. A conversation you thought would never happen suddenly does. A long-standing emotional tension breaks. A heart that went silent finally speaks, not because it wants comfort, but because it can no longer live with its own avoidance. If someone reaches out to you now, listen carefully, but do not abandon your boundaries. Aries energy is honest, but it can also be impulsive. True apologies come with accountability, not just emotion. Let your intuition guide you. You will know whether this is a karmic clearing or a lesson repeating itself. Above all, trust that this portal is restoring balance. The universe does not allow unfinished emotional contracts to remain unresolved forever. When the moon enters Aries, it ignites courage where fear once ruled, and it demands truth where silence once felt safer. Whether through words, energy, or inner release, the apology wave is real, and it is moving now. If you are feeling this shift, if your heart feels lighter or more restless than usual, it means you are aligned with the change. Something that was stuck is finally moving. Something that was silent is finally breaking. And once this portal closes, nothing remains the same. As this Aries moon continues to rise, the energy does not simply stop at apologies or sudden messages. It moves deeper into the unseen layers of the soul where truth has been avoided for far too long. This is the phase where emotions stop asking for permission. People who believed they had moved on suddenly realize they only buried their feelings beneath distraction. The fire of Aries burns through denial, and what remains is raw awareness. This is why some will feel emotional waves without knowing why, a tightness in the chest, a sudden urge to cry, or a strong pull towards someone they swore they were done with. The heart remembers what the mind tried to forget. You may notice a shift in how others respond to you now. There is less patience for games, less tolerance for emotional confusion. Aries energy demands clarity. It forces people to choose between honesty and continued inner conflict. This is why some connections will suddenly end, while others unexpectedly restart. This moon does not negotiate with half-truths. It either ignites a new beginning or burns away what was never meant to continue. And both outcomes are acts of divine protection, even if they don't feel comfortable at first. For those who have been carrying emotional wounds in silence, this portal offers a powerful release. The apology wave is not only about hearing the words, "I'm sorry," it is about being seen, finally, after feeling invisible for so long. It is about the universe acknowledging that your pain mattered, even when no one else did. Many will experience validation in unexpected ways. A conversation brings clarity, a dream delivers closure. A sudden inner peace replaces the need for answers. This is karmic justice moving quietly but precisely. This is also a moment of personal awakening. The moon in Aries reconnects you with your inner fire, the part of you that once knew your worth before doubt crept in. You may feel a sudden urge to reclaim your power, to stop shrinking, to stop waiting for others to choose you. That urge is not random. It is your soul responding to cosmic alignment. Aries energy reminds you that you were never meant to beg for clarity or chase emotional accountability. You were meant to stand in truth and let others rise to meet you or fall away. Some of you will realize that the apology you were waiting for is no longer needed. The moment the heart that went silent finally breaks, you may discover that you have already outgrown the version of yourself who was hurt. That realization is freedom. Forgiveness may come without reconciliation. Closure may arrive without conversation. This moon teaches that not every apology is meant to reopen a door, some are meant to finally close one. Over the next few days, pay attention to signs and synchronicities. Repeating numbers, sudden dreams, songs that trigger memories, unexpected encounters, or even a name appearing again and again. These are confirmations that emotional timelines are shifting. Aries energy accelerates karma. What was delayed now moves quickly. What was stuck now releases. What was hidden now comes into the light. Do not rush your response to whatever unfolds. Fire energy is fast, but wisdom knows when to pause. Observe how you feel after interactions. Notice whether your energy expands or contracts. The truth of this portal will always reveal itself through your emotional state. Peace is the signal that alignment has occurred. Remember, this is not about going backward. Even when someone returns, it is never the same story. Either the connection evolves to a higher frequency, or it dissolves so you can step into something far more aligned. The moon in Aries does not resurrect old pain without purpose. It does so only to clear the path ahead. As this apology wave portal reaches its peak, trust that whatever surfaces is meant to. Hearts that went silent are breaking not to hurt you again, but to release what was locked inside for too long. And as the fire settles, only truth remains. As the Aries moon moves closer to its peak, the energy becomes unmistakable. This is the point where avoidance completely collapses. What was once pushed aside now demands attention, not through chaos, but through undeniable inner pressure. People who convince themselves they were strong for staying silent begin to understand that silence was never strength. It was fear wearing a mask. And Aries energy has no patience for masks. It exposes the raw truth beneath them. This is why some people will suddenly feel compelled to admit things they never planned to say. Feelings long hidden surface without warning. Guilt rises. Regret speaks loudly. The heart that went quiet does not whisper anymore. It breaks open. And when it does, it often seeks the one person who still holds the emotional key. That may be you. Not because you are weak, but because you are real. Aries respects authenticity, and the moon amplifies emotional honesty. If someone from your past appears now, understand that this is not random timing. The universe orchestrates reunions only when something must be acknowledged, healed, or released. Sometimes the purpose is reconciliation, other times it is closure. Both are equally sacred. This portal is not about repeating old cycles, it is about completing them. And completion often requires courage, not comfort. You may also feel a strong shift in your own inner dialogue. The self-blame softens. The questions of what if lose their grip. A new clarity emerges, one that says you did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. Aries energy restores self-trust. It reconnects you with the version of yourself that did not doubt your worth, that did not shrink to keep peace, that did not silence truth to protect others' egos. There is also a powerful energetic boundary forming now. You may notice that you are less willing to entertain emotional confusion. Mixed signals feel exhausting. Half-hearted apologies feel empty. You are no longer impressed by words without action. This is the moon in Aries activating your discernment. It sharpens your intuition and teaches you that true courage is not just speaking, but taking responsibility. For some, this portal will trigger a final emotional test. Someone may return to see if you are still available to old patterns. How you respond now determines whether that chapter truly closes. You are not meant to react from longing or fear. You are meant to respond from awareness. The fire within you is no longer desperate, it is sovereign. As this energy continues, many will experience emotional liberation in subtle ways. You may wake up feeling lighter. The constant mental replay of the past fades. A sense of calm replaces the need for answers. This is the sign that the karmic contract has been fulfilled. When the lesson is learned, the pain dissolves. Aries energy does not drag things out. It cuts cleanly. Trust what is leaving your life now. Trust what is returning. Both are part of divine alignment. The universe is not punishing you. It is recalibrating you. And the more you honor your truth during this time, the smoother this transition becomes. The heart that went silent breaks not to suffer, but to heal. And once it does, it can never return to the same quiet place again. Something has shifted. Something irreversible has begun. Now, as this Aries moon begins to move through the final phase of its activation, a deeper realization settles in. The apology wave is not only about what others say or do, it is about what you finally allow yourself to accept. There is a moment during this transit when the soul becomes very quiet, not from suppression, but from understanding. You begin to see the past with clearer eyes. You recognize where love was real, where it was conditional, and where it was never aligned to last. This awareness is not painful anymore, it is grounding. Many will notice that the emotional charge around certain memories simply dissolves. The same thoughts that once triggered sadness or anger now feel distant, almost neutral. This is a sign of energetic completion. Aries energy burns fast, but it also clears fast. What remains after the fire passes is truth, stripped of illusion, and truth, when fully seen, no longer hurts the way it used to. For those who do receive an apology during this time, it may feel different than expected. You might realize that you no longer need it to validate your experience. The words land softly without shaking your foundation. This is growth. This is the soul no longer waiting for permission to heal. Whether you accept the apology or not, its arrival marks the end of a karmic imbalance. Something equalizes. Something releases. You may also feel called to forgive in ways that surprise you. Not to excuse behavior, but to free yourself from carrying its weight. Aries teaches that forgiveness is an act of self-respect, not sacrifice. It is choosing forward movement over emotional stagnation, and as you let go, space opens. Space for new connections that do not require you to shrink. Space for love that does not hide. Space for communication that does not arrive too late. This moon also activates a strong sense of self-leadership. You may feel less interested in explaining yourself, less willing to chase understanding from those who never listened. Your energy shifts from seeking validation to embodying truth. This is the quiet power Aries offers when its fire is integrated, not reacted to. Over the coming days, you may sense a new beginning, forming, not necessarily with another person, but within yourself. A renewed confidence, a clearer boundary, a deeper trust in your intuition. The universe is preparing you for connections that meet you where you are now, not where you were when you were wounded. If something ends during this time, let it. If something begins, allow it to unfold naturally. Do not force outcomes. The moon in Aries rewards authenticity, not control. What is meant to stay will stay without resistance. What is meant to leave will do so decisively. The apology wave portal closes with clarity, not confusion. When it passes, you will know exactly where you stand, who belongs in your future, and what no longer has access to your energy. This is not loss. This is alignment. The heart that once went silent has learned how to speak without fear, and from this point forward, it will never settle for silence again.